If you're retired or you're thinking about retirement, making sure that your portfolio doesn't drift too far off how it's supposed to be invested is important. That is, if you want a little bit more control over what your investments do. And especially if you're realizing that you don't need to go for the absolute maximum gains anymore for your plan to be successful. The people that we help usually want to take the least amount of risk possible, but still have the highest chance of their plan being successful. The clients we work with are looking for more predictability or certainty when it comes to their retirement plan. And the clients that I'm referring to are the ones at Streamline Financial. I'm Dave Zoller, and that's the retirement planning firm that I own with Tim and Luke and Sean. And we started this channel to help people who are not clients. And there are some helpful resources down below, like the DIY retirement plan, if that's of interest to you. So when is the right time to rebalance your portfolio? You've been investing for years, and you understand that there's periods where certain investments will go up and then periods where they may go down. And you know that rebalancing is important so that we don't drift too far off that ideal investment mix that we need for our retirement plan to be successful. 5 to 10 years ago, we may have been okay with not rebalancing, knowing that over time, investments tend to grow. And if we did nothing, the allocation might get more aggressive or more towards growth. But since we didn't need to use the money yet, and there were years until we had to start thinking about that, maybe we were okay with that. But now in retirement or close to retirement, we might be looking for more predictability with our investments. And rebalancing can be one of the strategies that helps with that. But when's the right time? Well, there's really two schools of thought here. The first one is called time-based rebalancing. I'd say this is the more common approach, and it's really at a certain time of year. Maybe it's annually or maybe it's quarterly. Rebalancing happens to get you back to the original allocation if things drifted a little bit during that period of time. And that can be good, but you may be missing opportunities throughout the year. For example, say that you rebalance on January 1 every year. And then you do that January 1, say it's this year, and then all of a sudden in March or April, we have an opportunity to tax loss harvest and actually lower our tax bill. But we don't do it because it's not January 1. So a potential solution to take advantage of those fluctuations that happen throughout the year is called trigger-based rebalancing. And that's what we call it. But that just means that when the triggers are switched throughout the year, you're alerted so that you can update the portfolio. Let's pretend that, I'm just going to name a certain asset class. Let's pretend it was an international fund that has a trigger when it's out of whack by 10%. Well, when the trigger's switched, then that portfolio, you can get it back in line. And that's the same for whether the international fund is down by 10% or up by 10% or whatever the triggers are. That's a method that we prefer at Streamline and that our clients get the most benefit out of as well. But I'll give you a tool to take a look at and explore to see if that might be helpful if you're thinking about rebalancing and doing this by yourself. Because really recently we talked to someone who's becoming a client, and they told us as we were getting things set up, he said, I know all about the importance of rebalancing and tax loss harvesting and asset allocation and all these other strategies that you guys are doing throughout the year. But the only problem is I just never was implementing the strategies by myself. When I thought it was time to do something, I just wasn't 100% confident that I was making the right decision. And we know exactly what he's talking about, because behind every financial decision, we know that there's an emotional decision as well. And it could be difficult, say, to rebalance your portfolio and potentially, again, I'm making this up, but increase international exposure with everything happening around the globe. That can be really hard to do. That's part of the reason why this combination of the strategies that we use, we call it the Streamline investment system. We understand how important the emotional side of decisions are, financial decisions are, and we're able to talk with clients through them with, but we also choose to follow a system, which is, I'd say, is more of the logical side. And systems are really more unemotional, but they get implemented. So if it's up to you and we never end up working together, it'll be important to write down your system that you're able to follow and implement it, and hopefully not second guess it, just so it gets done. If the trigger-based system seems like too much work for you, maybe it's going time-based once per year. That could be a system that you end up following. But here are a few tools to take a look at that might assist you if you enjoy learning and implementing these sorts of strategies by yourself. The first one is called Personal Capital, and let me pull it up on my screen here to see. This is their rebalancing offer. Now, to be honest, I have not used this myself, so I don't have a personal recommendation, but I have heard from others that they've liked it. So I'll include the link to this below. And then another tool I'm going to include the link to below is a spreadsheet or a Google Sheet from Rob Berger. This is his portfolio tracking spreadsheet that can give you an idea. I think it has a column, it does have a column in there of when things get out of whack and when to rebalance. So I know when talking about investment strategy, it can be a lot to take in. And a lot of people choose not to do these things and not implement the investment or the tax strategies that could improve their plan, but they end up doing just fine. But if you're thinking that there might be some strategies that you can use to optimize what you're doing with investments, tax planning, and withdrawal strategy, you're always welcome to reach out through our website by clicking that Get Started button on the homepage. I'd be happy to talk with you if we've got openings this month. So I hope that was helpful to just review trigger-based rebalancing and time-based, and hopefully those tools can be useful if you choose that route. Think about which one's better for you, and then make that plan, and then follow the plan. So have a great rest of your day. Take care.